you mentioned Indianapolis is a stop on your tour so far for Sports Illustrated. MMQB's Albert Breer here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's go there next because that's another competition at the quarterback spot. Anthony Richardson coming in healthy is an interesting twist, right? Or he's not, still working on it. What'd you glean there when you stop by there?
I would say you always have to be careful about that term when you're talking about a quarterback's shoulder that hasn't been surgically repaired, or even if it has been. He had it done before, of course, but having the soreness is a red flag. So I think from what I understand, he's been good through the first week of camp, but you never know. Like that soreness can resurface. I think Daniel Jones is the lead dog in that competition. That's just based on, conversation I've had and putting pieces together. The interesting thing talking to Shane Steichen about this, a couple of days ago was he kind of impressed how important it was going to be that the person who is the quarterback winds up being very consistent and knows how to run the operation. And I think it's sort of reflective of what they feel like is a pretty decent roster. Like they don't need the quarterback to come in and save them. Like they feel like they can have a pretty good offense if the quarterback can just operate the offense the way they intend for the quarterback to operate the offense. And this was an amazing stat. And it caused me to kind of like look at the Colts a little bit differently. So like last year they had 29 giveaways, which was, I believe, third to last in the NFL, third worst in the NFL. And they had the 29th ranked total defense. So I think a lot of the mindset is there. If we can play more efficiently and cleaner on offense, and then Lou Anarumo can come in and fix the defense. I mean, they won 8 games doing that last year, 8 games under those conditions last year. So again, like I think a lot of it for them offensively is who's going to get us into a position where we can play much cleaner football than we did a year ago, which again is interesting when you're talking about 2 guys that were picked in the top 10 when they were drafted.
Right, and sometimes not known for their ball security, right?
Right.
And patience level is really the term in Indianapolis that I'm intrigued by. Patience level with Anthony Richardson and Chris Ballard showing off his guns like this while he was talking, which I would too. And him saying we got to be more patient with the kid, right? Like we're not just going to turn aside from him, although they do have Daniel Jones in-house. But here's where I'm winding up. It's really the patience level sometimes with teams from ownership. And I'm just wondering what you were able to glean on the management style of Carly Irsay Gordon, the eldest daughter of the now late Jim Irsay, who's now in charge there, and the sense of how that might bring to bear decision-making roster-wise and quarterback-wise, Albert.
Well, I mean, like we can start here like that. She has been in the building. So like she was really groomed by her dad and other people in the building to eventually be in this role. Nobody knew it was going to happen now, of course, but she's been groomed to be in this role. And I think anytime there's that sort of ownership transition, there's going to be some unknown. And I can remember, when Paul Allen died, because Paul Allen wasn't around a lot, as you know,
right.
The Seahawks building a lot. Jody Allen became the owner, his sister. And even though she didn't really do much that would affect the football people early on, there was this level of discomfort because there was the unknown, because you don't know how different it's going to be.
Right.
Because, look, at the time, she didn't hire John Schneider. She didn't hire Pete Carroll. She didn't draft Russell Wilson. And I think it's the same sort of thing here. There are very few coaches that make it through 3 years without making the playoffs and see a 4th year. And that's where Shane Steichen is right now. Chris Ballard's been there. This will be his 9th season. So, I think because you have that dynamic added to the fact that there's somebody else making the decision, there is like a certain level of, well, we don't know what's going to happen at the end of the year. At the same time, they do know her, so I do think that gives you at least a little bit of a feeling of, all right, like, this probably isn't going to look too different. But I don't know that I would say that anybody is 100% safe there. Like, I think you have to let the season play out. And at the end of that, we probably figure out a little bit more about where Carly's at as an owner.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.